Dear students, at the second level in Faculty of Law, Al-Azhar University, Gaza, this will be the first lecture, inshallah, in the course named International Organizations. Well, the international organizations, or the law of organizations, is considered one of the international law branches, as this law has many branches, as we studied in the course international law or public international law. We have mentioned that this law is a multi-branched one, since everything happens in the international community. Public international law shall respond to these circumstances and the matters that happen in the international society. That's why everything happens will lead to the existence of a new branch of the international law. The international organizations, or the law of the international organizations, is considered one of these branches. It came in order to respond to the existence of the phenomenon of the international organizations like the United Nations and so on. So in this lecture, inshallah, we will start talking about the international organizations, but I feel that it is a pressing need to know what do we mean by the international society and the nature of the international society before we get to the phenomenon of the international organizations and their existence. So we will start our lecture with a question here. I used to start my lecture with a question that I give to my students, and they will answer it, and they will give their own answer on a sheet of paper, and I used to give them the time to express their ideas and to tell me what do they think about the international society and what does it mean. However, since the process that we use now is the electronic method in teaching, and I cannot communicate with you simply because the internet connection is really bad. I will start my lecture with a question, and I will answer it immediately without any kind of communication with you, my students. So what do I mean by the international society here? Do you think that the international society means the society where the individuals or the human beings live in the international in this society? Like the society is the place where every human being in this planet on this planet lives, regardless to his nationality, whether he is Egyptian, Palestinian, Syrian, or whatsoever. Well, actually, this is a definition of the international society. It may be correct to say that this is the definition of the international society, but this is what is called the comprehensive international society. And we call it comprehensive because it consists of everyone who is human being, regardless to the nationality that he enjoys or holds. So this is a definition. This is one of the possible definitions for the international society. But actually, there are more definitions. Among these definitions for the international society, which varies from the definition that I mentioned previously, is that the international society is the society where the political entities, or between brackets, the states, live or exist. Look, when the society means the place or the scope where the political entities or the states exist, then this may mean that this scope reflects the idea of the international society. So we can say that there is two possible definitions for the terminology, the international society. Let's have a look here. It says the term international society refers to a society that extends to more than a mere national society, or more than the state, where nationals live on piece of land named territory under certain sovereignty. واللي إنه المجتمع الدولي يشير إلى المجتمع، يعني المكان اللي هو يفوق في نطاقه مجرد المجتمع الداخلي أو المجتمع الوطني. يعني أنا ما بتكلمش عن the Palestinian society or the Egyptian society or the American society. I'm talking about society which extends to more than, it exceeds the mere national society. So it is bigger than this. That's to say, more than the one state. يعني بقول المجتمع الدولي بيتخطى مجرد فكرة الدولة الواحدة، هو إشي أكبر من هيك. وطبعا بفوق مجرد الدولة الواحدة اللي بيعيش فيها أفراد اللي هم population على territory of the state under certain sovereignty اللي هم طبعا pillars of the state. Also, the term international society, it may mean one of the following. The first meaning is that the society that includes all human beings, wherever they are and whatever their nationalities. يعني هو مجتمع بضم لي كل من قال أنا human being أينما كانوا، يعني regardless to their state, regardless to the state's territories that they belong to, and regardless to their nationalities that they enjoy and hold. And this is what we call the comprehensive humanitarian society. It is the comprehensive humanitarian society. هذا بيطلق عليه اسم المجتمع الإنساني الشامل، لأن المجتمع الدولي هو المجتمع اللي بضم كل سكان العالم بغض النظر عن جنسياتهم، بغض النظر عن ما يتمتعون به من حقوق، بغض النظر عن الرقعة الجغرافية اللي بيعيشوا فيها. فهي بتنظر إلى المجتمع الدولي without limitations, without boundaries, without named territories. So this is what is called the comprehensive humanitarian society. However, there is another meaning for the international society, and I would like to draw here so that you pay attention with me. So the society that includes all of the political units or the political entities. The political entities هم مين؟ هم عبارة عن الstates. فبقول لي إنه المجتمع الدولي هو عبارة عن ذلك الوسط الذي تعيش فيه وحدات سياسية يطلق عليها اسم مين؟ يطلق عليها اسم الدول or states as mentioned here. الآن between or among these definitions, or two definitions, I would like to choose one of them simply because it matches with our course. And actually this meaning, the society which includes the political units or the political entities that are named states, this is the definition that we are going to depend on in our study to the law of the international organizations. So there are more than one definition for the international society. One of them reflects the comprehensive international society, which includes every human being regardless to his nationality that he enjoys and holds. Number two, the society or the international society, it is the scope which consists of or which include the political units that are named the states. And this one, I mean, this meaning is what we will depend on in our study to the course named the international organizations. Now, I will ask you a question before getting to the second point. Is the international society organized in his nature or based in chaos? So my question here is the international society, and this meaning, which includes the political units or the states. Do you think that this community, which consists of the states, do you think that it is based in its nature, yani, in the organization, so it's organized one, or is it based on chaos, so it is anarchic society? هل هو مجتمع فوضوي ولا مجتمع منظم بطبيعته؟ هل تعتقدون أنه مجتمع منظم ولا مجتمع فوضوي؟ Okay, before answering this question, did you notice the name of your course? What is the name of our course? It is the international organizations. It is the law of organization. اسمه قانون التنظيم الدولي. قانون التنظيم الدولي. كيف ممكن يساعدك هذا الاسم في الإجابة على هذا السؤال؟ إنه هل المجتمع منظم ولا فوضوي؟ Now I'm going to ask you a question and you just answer it in your mind before we answer the question whether the international society is organized on or based on chaos. Now my question is, when do you feel that you are in need to make or to arrange your room or to make it a tidy one? متى بتشعر انه انت بدك ترتب غرفتك في البيت يعني او بدك تنظمها؟ Simply, I think most of you, if not 100% of you, would answer my question like this. I would make my room tidy and I would arrange my room when I feel that my room is messed up and it's messy, so messy, right? So when there is like chaos, there is a need for organizations, right? When the place is in case of chaos, when the place is messy, then we need the phenomenon of the organization, the process of the organization, right? So do you think that the international society is organized one or in case of chaos? Well, I, as Maher, would answer the question as follows. I think if the international society was organized in his nature, I think we wouldn't need the existence of the organizations or the phenomenon of the international organization. However, if the international society is in case of chaos, then I think that it is a pressing need, the existence of the international organizations. لو كان المجتمع يا جماعة أصلا منظم، فليش إحنا نيجي لظاهرة التنظيم الدولي؟ إذا كان المجتمع اللي بيعيش فيه مجموعة الدول هذا منظم بطبيعته، فليش يكون في عندي ظاهرة التنظيم الدولي؟ وليش يكون عندي أصلا law of the international organizations؟ لكن الشيء الأكثر إقناعا للوهلة الأولى إنه إذا كان المجتمع الدولي في حالة حروب وصراعات and there are problems between these states and there are clashes and some states are in case of war among each other or with each other, that's why we need international organizations, so that these organizations would help in organize the international society and to make this international society as best as or as much as stable, right? So that's why I asked you whether the international society is organized or chaos, and I linked it with the name of our course. The name of our course, the law of international organizations. It means the law of international organizations, then we need the organization. Why do we need the organization? Because there is something happened within the international society, which is the chaos. So my answer is that the international society is based in chaos and it's not organized in its nature. Okay, despite the easiness and despite this opinion that I have, I would like to share with you the jurisprudence or the point of view of the jurists of international law regarding the nature of the international society, because there are more than one opinion regarding the nature of the international society. And here I will share with you some of these point of views, and I will share basically with you 2 point of views for jurisprudence on the matter, the nature of the international society. Anyway, as mentioned here, the jurisprudence on this matter, I mean whether the international society is organized or based on chaos, is divided in 2 groups. It is divided in 2 groups. The first group considers that the international society is an anarchist one or anarchist society، وعبارة عن مجتمع إيش ماله؟ مجتمع فوضوي. While the other finds that the international society, sorry, something went wrong when I was recording this video. Well, while others, dear students, find that the international society is an organized one. So there are 2 points of views. The first one says that the society is based in the anarchy. However, the other view says that the international society is based on the organization. Okay, let's move to the first opinion to see what they do say regarding their point of view. So the first point of view says that the international society is based in chaos. So they describe the society as anarchist one. According to jurisprudence, especially the jurist Hobbes, the human beings are innate to violence and chaos. Hobbes says that the human being is innate to violent. It means that the violence is the description of the human being. It is found within the innate of the human being. يعني هو مفطور أو خلينا نقول الفطرة تبعته هي العنف والفوضى. However, the existence of the authorities at the national level, especially the executive authority, would restrict their violent conduct. So here, Hobbes makes comparison between the international society and the national society. He says whether it is a national society or international society, the human being is a component. Whether he is a basic component of the national society, or he is one of the pillars or one of the main or the basic elements of the state, because the population is a pillar of the state. The population, what is the population? The population consists of the human beings. So he says that the human beings are found here and there. I mean, in the national society and the international society. And these human beings are violent. They are like innate to violence, and they are innate to the chaos phenomenon. But in the national society, there are 3 authorities. One of them is the executive authority, and the executive authority would restrict in its existence the violent conduct of people, because it's kind of a preventive measure. So when the person thinks of his acts, and that there will be penalty that will be imposed by the executive authority, it would make him like hesitated to do the act which is against the laws and the regulations and whatsoever. That's why the existence of the executive authority, it restricts actually the violent act or the violent conduct and behavior of the human beings. طيب, at the international level, we know that the international society at the international level, it consists of the states in the first place. These states are all equal in their sovereignty. نظريا طبعا, theoretically. However, in practice, there are states which have sovereignty and states that doesn't have sovereignty, or even if they have sovereignty, they are not equal with the biggest states. Like the United States, for example, it cannot be put in a comparison with a small state, without naming any country. So that's why we say that theoretically the states are all in one line and they are equal in their sovereignty. And there is no executive authority which is above all of these states. So the inexistence of the executive authority, which bounds the conduct of these states, would make the international society in a case of chaos for a long time, for an unknown time. So the society will keep its main characteristic, which is the violence and the chaos. Okay, so the comparison which is made by Hobbes between the national society and the international society is that in the national society, the human being is innate to violence. However, this violence would be restricted by the existence of the executive authority. However, at the international level, there is no executive authority because there are no authorities that they are above all states in the international level. That's why the states would keep their international scope or international level where they live in a case of violence and chaos. That's why Hobbes thinks that the international society is in a case of chaos and is anarchist society and not organized one. Okay, this would lead to some of results. Number one, the society, the international society, which is anarchist one, is the society of states only. And number two, the anarchist society, because of the authority's absence. He gives a reason why the society is anarchist one. It is because the authority's absence, because there are no authorities which are more powerful than the state or more sovereign than the states. And number three, that the law of power would prevail in the international society. So states would be more powerful than other states, and the society will be unstable for unknown time. The second point of view, it finds that the international society, it is an organized one, not anarchist one. هذه وجهة نظر مختلفة تماما عن وجهة النظر الأولى. هي بتقول according to this view, the relations between the members of the international society are based on solidarity and interdependence. على عكس وجهة نظر هوبس. هذا وجهة النظر الثانية تقول بأنه المجتمع الدولي قائم أصلا على فكرة التكامل بين بعض البعض والتعاون والتداخل في العلاقات بين بعضهم البعض والاعتماد على بعضهم البعض. يعني هذه النظرة، نظرة الفقه هنا أكثر تفاؤلا من وجهة نظر الأولى، بتحكي إن المجتمع بطبيعته مجتمع فوضوي. Also, the law organizing the society does not require authorities. It says that the law, which is organizing the international society, it doesn't require the authorities. So the existence or the non-existence of the authorities, especially the executive authority, it doesn't have any relation, or it is not required even for organizing the international society. They think that the international society is organized one. So my question here, if the international society is an organized one, why do we need the international organizations in our life? I mean, in the international society. Some would say that I know, or we know, that the international society is organized one, but what what is the problem with having organizations or international organizations in the international society? It may help us to make the international society more and more organized. يعني صح ان المجتمع الدولي منظم، ومع ذلك بنحتاج لمنظمات دولية، مش بالضرورة عشان تنظم المجتمع لأنه هو منظم، بس عشان تزيد من النظام الموجود فيه، تزيد من مسألة السوليداريتي، تزيد من مسألة الانتردependence to achieve the lottery, to achieve the development of of some states like the developing countries. That's why they think that the international society is an organized one. Here are some details. Well, actually, I don't need them. I'm sorry. So we reach where's the slide? So we were talking about the organized society. We have mentioned why do they think the international society is organized one. And despite this fact, I mean, despite the fact that the international society is organized, they think that there is no problem with having the international organization at the international level, simply because they want to make this organized society more and more organized by achieving the development, improvement, and the luxury of all people around the world. Okay, there are some details here, you can find them, but I don't need them actually. Now let us just move to the international organizations meaning, or what do we mean by the international organization. ايش اللي بقصده بالمنظمة الدولية؟ الآن هنا نحن بدأنا بأهم الموضوعات في هذا المساق. What do we mean by the international organization؟ المنظمة الدولية زي مثلا الأمم المتحدة، عصبة الأمم سابقا, and all of these organizations. What do we mean by the international organization as terminology, like as a word? What do we mean by the international organization? Well, now we will give you the definition that is considered the most accurate definition in my point of view. Well, actually, you may find 100 definitions for the international organization. They vary according to the elements that they put inside the definition. Some definitions consist of just 2 elements of the elements mentioned here, while others may give you elements that exceeds the number of the elements which are found here also. However, كمان مرة وقف التسجيل، ما بعرفش ايش المشكلة، يمكن انترنت. So we mentioned that there are a number of definitions for the international organization, but these actually definitions differ from jurist to another jurist definition. So some of jurists of international law define the organization in a way that the definition is or has number of elements which exceeds the number of the elements mentioned and shown here. And the other jurists of international law may define the international organization in a way that the definition may include a number of elements which is less than the number that is shown here. However, the definition that I adopt, I think it is the best definition, and it is defined by Dr. Muhammad Saeed al-Daqqaq. He's one of the brilliant minds who was actually was one of the best jurists of international law who illustrated and explained the phenomenon of the international organization. So I adopted the definition simply because I do believe that it is the best and it covers all of the elements and the pillars of the definition of the international organization. So in here, actually, I would like to read the definition of the international organization, and I would like to annotate the main pillars that I do believe that they are the most important pillars which differentiate between the international organization, which distinguish the international organization from the other definitions and from the other terminologies. Well, the international organization means a bulk of international actors' wills. It is a set of international actors' wills. يعني كأنه بيقول لي المنظمة الدولية هي عبارة عن تجمع لإرادة مجموعة من أشخاص المجتمع الدولي. الأكترز اللي هم ممثلين المجتمع الدولي اللي هم subjects of the international law, whether they are states, organizations, or whatsoever. So the organization consists of bulk of the international actors' wills. يعني هي عبارة عن تجمع لإرادات أشخاص المجتمع الدولي in a shape of a permanent committee. In a shape of a permanent committee. And here we should put number 2 as it is the second element. So the first element in the definition is that the international organization is a set of international actors' wills. So there are international actors, their wills gather together in a shape of a permanent committee. So it is not like the international conference. The international conference, there are international actors' wills, but they are not gathered in a way that lead to the existence of a permanent committee. It is just a temporary one. And after the conference, all of these wills shatter. So we're not talking about a permanent committee. However, the international organization is a permanent committee. It is a permanent committee, and it is the second element of the definition. That is founded by an international agreement. So this is number 3. This is number 3. And he says that the international organization as a permanent committee, it is found by international agreement. He wants to say an international treaty. So international treaty or international accord, any of the synonyms for the word treaty, okay? So it is, I mean, the permanent committee, it is made through an international agreement. This is number 3, and this is the third element of the definition for the international organizations. Also, this permanent committee, I mean, which constitute the international organization, it has an independent will, and this is number 4. Independent will يعني إرادة ذاتية خاصة في المنظمة. So it's different from the wills of the actors here who constitute in their gathering the permanent committee. الإرادة اللي بتتمتع فيها المنظمة منفصلة تماما عن إرادة مين؟ عن إرادة الأشخاص اللي بيدخلوا في تشكيلها. نرجع من تاني ونقول إنه the bulk of international actors' wills is number 1. Number 2, the international organization is a permanent committee. The international organization is based on and it is established through and by the international treaty or agreement. The international organization has an independent will, so it's different from the wills of the states or the international actors who created in their wills the permanent committee by their gathering. Number 5, the international organization has its own special legal system, or what we call the internal statute. So, for example, the International Court of Justice. The International Court of Justice, it's one of the organs of the international organization named the United Nations, right? Also, this organ, I mean, the ICJ or the International Court of Justice, it has a special legal system, what we call the internal statute of the International Court of Justice. Also, the International Criminal Court, the ICC, it is an organization, it is an international organization, and it has an internal legal system. فيها نظام داخلي تتمتع فيه مختلف تماما عن ايه؟ عن internal agreement by which the international organization was established. And finally, this international organization is supplied with a number of the major organs which helps the organization to fulfill or in fulfilling its targets and aims. For example, the United Nations is an international organization and it is supplied with 6 major organs, and these major organs are working together in order to fulfill the main targets and aims of the United Nations. So this is the definition, and these are 6 main pillars that distinguish the definition of the international organization. These 6 main pillars distinguish the international organization as a term from the other terms in the international law. So I need you to take into consideration all of these main pillars. So when defining the international organization, I need you to put all of these main pillars and to remember all of these pillars, and don't forget any one of these pillars in while the exam. To this end, we end our lecture.